I'm okay with this. I think it should in theory be a really strong support against this Wraith King Dark Willow lane, because they have no way of really dealing with the treants very well. They can't force the skeletons to start hitting treants, so they have like the control advantage, if you will.
And you got good clearance out from Winstrike, both with magical as well as physical.
Yeah, and it's a good iceberg hero. I like this. Or sorry, he's probably playing the tiny. It's also a good non-grata hero though. I want these two players to. We had the game earlier today where they played Tiny Weaver, and I really liked that. But then they ended their draft with a Drow, and it slowed them down so much. This is still some very nice tempo here with the Mirana. They can play very quick and aggressive.
Team Liquid ticked their last box, which is some level of insane teamfight control.
It's a position 1 Wraith King.
And mind control will do it, and yeah, it actually is. It's Miracle on Wraith King.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. This Broodmother is going to have a lot of lifesteal. It's going to have a 30% from the aura. It's going to have 250 million% from its ulti. So it's going to be a lot of lifesteal. Maybe GH.
That sounds like a made-up number.
Maybe mind control buys of Vlads too. Honestly, in some fights, it feels like it's 1,000%. Like, no joke. Just look at it. You're like, okay, he hit one time and he's full health. What just happened?
Yeah, that's a 4,000 HP hero. Oh, hang on.
That's...
But
quite something.
like laning wise though, how do you like Team Liquid there? They're running a 4 melee lineup with 1 range support. And they're gonna do this against a Spectre who can close the distance, obviously, with Haunt real quick.
Yeah.
Like potential kiting through Tiny. They are pretty tanky though, so I don't think there's great opportunities for Iceberg just to jump in and get that instant pop. Like GH is the only one, and if you get Shadow Realm off, then it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I look at this Liquid lineup and it looks a bit weird to me, but the one thing they have got going for them is they have great targets for Bloodlust, which I think is very important when you pick Ogre. Both Broodmother and Wraith King use this spell very, very well. Obviously, the passive crit from Wraith King and the really high lifesteal from Broodmother's ultimate benefits a lot from attack speed. So that's nice, but it's just I'm ready to be surprised here. Not because I think their lineup is bad, but because I don't completely see the logic yet. I know what the Broodmother is supposed to do. I had the idea with the Wraith King Willow lane, which we'll see if is it even going to happen or not. They might lane it differently. But rounding this out with the Brewmaster is a little bit odd to me. It might feel like they can just go in. You know, maybe the idea is we go in with Brood, we go in with Spiders, we go in with Skeletons, and then we use Split on Brew.
Yeah.
And we just create chaos and just buy time, and the summons are going to do stuff, like take towers or kill heroes. We'll see how it goes. But like, just when I look at these two lineups, the Dire lineup looks way more intuitive to me. It has more heroes that we've seen more in this tournament.
For battle.
But as long as that laning phase goes right too, this does feel a lot better.
But Liquid are good, so there is definitely some plan behind this. Kuro has had some pretty creative drafts in this tournament. This isn't the first time they've had some off-meta picks, if you will. And they've been solid. They have a 7-3 score for a reason. So
yeah, it could also just be because they're massively talented players.
And their drafts are garbage. Kuro, what are you doing? All right, man, we'll win anyway.
All right, get it out of your system, boys. Okay, is it done?
Okay.
Thanks, Kuro.
Damn, Kuro got tipped so much. Everybody loves Kuro. Oh. Non-Grata loves mind control. I mean, that's cool. All right, one from Matumba.
Yeah, that's an insurance. Just paying it right now. So Matumba doesn't go for mass spiders against him. So at least he can deal with just the hero direct. All right. So rolling out. Oh, I think they know a spider's in mid lane. Matumba even. Everything's A-okay in the mid lane.
You put the push. Oh, that's great.
Did it right underneath the Dire Observer, but he walked up to the tower just to ensure. But they're not actually doing that. Looks like Mind Control's prepared to go mid lane. They're going to send Matumba to the off, and then Wraith King in the save. So they're changing up the lanes in Iceberg. Well, he's tagging back. Winstrike now own the Radiant side.
Are they done yet?
No, they're not done. They're not fully done yet. Miracle starting a dance club.
Time for a rune fight. It's like Winstrike are trying to maybe snipe this bottom rune. No, they're not going to get it. It's a 2 for 2.
In fact, yeah, they're gonna lose it out. Winstrike can take the top rune. But this is kind of happening because Matumba's keeping his presence secret up on top lane.
This is very interesting, though. I think this is the first offlane Brood we've seen all tournament so far. And
is it because the matchup is just so much better for a Brewmaster in mid against the Tiny?
that's what I was thinking, but I don't even know if Brew wins this lane. I think he does fine, but perhaps the logic is from Liquid. You know what? Overall, if we do it like this, we'll have a slightly worse game for Brood, but a much better game for Brew. That might be what they're thinking. That they want to give Mind Control a better game, and then Matumba can come back. Because he will definitely be getting less in this top lane than he would
lanes. Silence coming towards the mid lane. Tiny's going top.
Wait, they're actually switching now?
Yeah, they're switching. They're switching real early, and I get to miss first blood.
Yeah, they're tri-laning bottom right now.
So I always want to fly false. And Matumba starting his TP. He's heading towards the mid.
So this is the other piece. The other way of looking at this is if you put Brood in the off lane, Brood, when you have to solo off lane, Brood will generally get more than Brewmaster. So that way they can enable themselves to put this tri-lane bottom in the start to get a huge advantage from Miracle and just let the Broodmother leech that little bit top. And now disrupt them in toward mid. And yes, Iceberg will follow, but now Matumba actually has an experience advantage. Yeah. So that worked out pretty well.
2.5. Lanes are equal. So this defensive tri-lane to ensure that Miracle gets a good start. Nongrada's not going to get as much space as he would probably like here with Always Want to Fly. Does Iceberg really do that well against the Brood? Seems like a lane where he's going to cop a lot of harassment until he gets his levels up to kill off these Spiderlings.
If this was a flat one-on-one from the beginning, Tiny is just free farming. There's nothing Brood can do. But
because it's not.
There's a slight experience advantage from Matumba. I don't know if that's going to swing it enough. You'll see he runs it toward him with the tree, and Matumba just has to yield. Let him farm.
Is it actually worth getting early points up in Bite? Just to try and mess with the Tiny?
I don't think so. I think it slows down your farming.
Alright.
Yeah, just passing by.
Just a club buy. There's a haste rune as well, but Nature's Prophet's going to TP in. He'll grab that, and he can play around with Kuro, but he's going to do nothing against him. And just make sure the Kuro doesn't have the haste rune to harass down Silent.
I wonder how long it would take No Fear to kill Kuro if he was just hitting him. And Ogre's just standing there with 2 mangoes.
8 armor, 700 HP, regen at 6.7. He actually goes to 6 with the -2 from Blight. It would take a very long time.
I mean, this is... I love Ogre. What a dumb hero.
Literally.
Yeah. But so great at the same time.
Starts with 17 intelligence. That seems a little too high. He should be a lot dumber than that.
Well, if Tiny has 0 agility and can still walk.
Claps up. That's level 2 on him, combining with the Fire Blaster and the Ignite. No fear. Well, he thought he had it, but damn, Mind Control. Just starts letting go on bottom lane. Perfect Bramble. GH able to connect onto Always Want to Fly. And in the Cursed Crowns, they're using both of the stuns already. Vengeful Spirit. Nongrata cannot help him. Threw the arrow out, and after then, there was really no intimidation factor for the Mirana.
This early laning stage for Liquid is looking great right now. All 3 of their cores have got a successful start. You see, Matumba Man knows this mid lane isn't that great for him, but since he already got his level 4 and a decent spider army, he could just retreat into this jungle and just keep building his army. They got a lot out of this overall Liquid on the Brewmaster especially. I think he's the biggest winner in all of this, having 20 CS in that offlane minute 4. And this is against support Nature's Prophet. They just haven't been able to really put on much pressure. The downside of having Spectre in this lane doesn't really threaten that much.
But there should be the threat coming up, right? Like when Silent hits 6, when you actually have Haunt available, as if Silent can actually stay alive. He's trying to Spectral Dagger through the trees, but they just cut through him. Kuro's got his extra stun available, and Silent has an extra hit from the Drunken Brawler, but no fears available. He didn't actually hold the 3rd point, so he can't even sprout to create space. Arrow, GH, these are coming from a mile away. He's pinging saying there's an Observer Ward here, but there's not. GH just sensed it.
The taunt. This taunt is so silly.
It's like that sound, like, what is that song? It sounds like almost like a Breakfast Club kind of, like, track.
Maybe we should just stop casting. Just let the music.
Yeah.
Just let the music play.
Music makes the Dota run away from you.
Bounty runes. That's 2 per, I think. Yep.
Yeah. Unless GH is going to go for more, and yeah, he is. The Bramble's right in, like, always want to fly. He's going to clip it. Oh, and Courier. Yeah. Courier doesn't want to be there. And GH could actually win this. He'll take the hit, but he's got Fairy Fire, and he's still got the Shadow Realm available. So he's waiting as long as he possibly can. Now Fairy Fires into the Shadow Realm. Full charge, and support coming in from Nongrata. And it's actually always want to fly finding the kill. While that happened too, Mind Control died up on the north side. Kuro trying to find a little bit of revenge, beating into No Fear. Able to do so, but this is the perfect scenario for the Spec. Able to get solo experience around for two of them. Unless Mind Control can get some rebuttal, but that won't happen.
No. There's a lot of creeps as well here, so Silent has more than enough coverage. That went pretty well overall for Winstrike. Compared to the earlier games we've seen today against EG, where they kind of got...
Well, dumpstered.
They got crushed a decent amount in Game 2. In Game 1, they got run over. In Game 2, at this point, they were also relatively even, but it's already looking better than that. So, off to a better start relatively.
I like how the way you look at this. It's like, bit by bit, game by game, Winstrike are getting better.
Yes.
In position in every single game. But
so far today, every game is better.
Yeah. The fact that they have now a Spectre who's not sitting there going, oh, I have to rush an item or something like this because my other lanes are going horribly.
The fact that they don't have Drow this time seems to be doing well.
Yeah, they actually have something that does something. Like, it's a level 6 Spectre. He can haunt out if he wants to get out of this fight. Actually doesn't have the mana for it. 6 charges, but not enough life. Here comes No Fear. Observer Ward for Vision. He doesn't have Sprout leveled up because he's still a level 3 Nature's Prophet.
I have the Medallion, though.
Yeah, Defensive Medallion will do the job.
No Fear really likes this item. He also rushes it on Chen, which is more common. The Chen players will get that as their absolute first item.
But Tumba's doing a really good job of keeping these Spiderlings away from Iceberg. There's still 60 CS on Iceberg. So he's gotten a couple, but he's also just had free reign of the mid lane. Hit level 7 already. Matumba has hit 8.5.
Oh, bottom lane. Always want to fly is toast.
Sound check. Spectral Haunt looking for a rebuttal. Miracle is the main man. He's not level 6 yet. That's why there's such a great time to bring in Silent. Couple of skeletons chasing down Nongrata. They can farm them up for nothing really, but cleans them up. So 1-for-1 trade-off.
Yep. It's a good kill though. The gold did go to No Fear. I think they would have obviously liked to get that kill on the Spectre, but regardless, the nice thing about haunting down here in this game for Spec is that the lane matchup isn't that bad. He can just farm down here after he haunts down. And that is really the biggest difference between this game and the last 2 games we've seen from Winstrike. This game, it feels like all 3 of their cores can get involved, can fight early, and don't have a bad laning stage. And in addition to that, they have very active supports in the Nature's Prophet and Venge. So just from a drafting perspective, I love what we're seeing here from them. And if they can keep this early game up with this little of a deficit, this can turn into a great Spectre game. Oh, we could see an upset.
He's going to need to come up top right now. Silence under attack. There's more support arriving. The Bramble from GH. The rotation is right in the money, and Spec has no way out of it. And with the Brewmaster split, they have the extra control. Tiny will cancel his TP, but because of this, Always Want to Fly is dead. They just turned around Team Liquid, realizing the support is not coming, and Vengeful Spirit will be the double kill for Mind Control.
Jinxed it real good. At the very least, for Winstrike.
But you are getting, so the advantage of the support is like No Fear, he takes the kill, but if you're able to get this earned and then into something like a Spirit Vessel, it's going to cause a couple of problems for the Broodmother as well.
That's a good item against Brood for sure.
So getting that nice and early means at least you can start to build up charges for when they're going to be needed.
And as far as Liquid goes, it's looking good, right, at this point. They just got those 2 kills. They didn't get to pressure the tower all that much, but Mind Control, or sorry, Matumba Man is just free farming. Tiny can win the lane in the beginning, but at some point, Brood will just retreat into the jungle and just farm camps. That's what Brood does in pretty much every matchup. So everything, as far as Liquid are concerned, is probably going according to plan.
Yeah.
Now, if maybe they were hoping to be a bit further ahead than this. It's always a bit scary going into mid-game with a relatively even gold. Yeah, no real gold difference with a Spectre team. But so far, so good, I would say.
Especially once they can start going for more plays with the Brood too. Like, Diffuser play is coming real quick.
It's bounty rune time.
For the Broodmother. And you're right, 10-minute time. Iceberg's actually on a rotation with Smoke. Always want to fly an Iceberg coming north, but the rotation already came from Liquid. Silence the one attacked. He's got 21 charges available, so he can survive this. No fear TP's in. Almost a distraction. Now allow Iceberg to get the double avalanche. Looking for the toss. One more hit with the tree toss will kill off Mind Control, and they turn their attention over towards Kuro. Heavy rotations. Perfect Sprout block. Turns for a stun. But 2 hero kills. GH will actually grab one. And potentially the second, yeah, he'll actually reach the second bounty rune. Let's always want to fly hits the stun. Even then, GH will get both of them.
I loved that smoke from Winstrike because I thought the plan was to go and fight at the bounty runes. But instead they cross all the way to top, and sure, they get a good fight, but they didn't get the bounties. If that would have been bounty runes and a fight at those runes, that would have been super good for them. But they went up to help their Spectre. It's still an okay outcome for them, but Liquid don't really lose much by way of getting those bounties.
Prophet's going to TP down towards bottom lane. I think they want to try and break that Ank. And Miracle does leveled up. Silent will arrive, so they'll have to kill him twice over. Arrow, it doesn't connect at the right time.
A skeleton.
The skeletons came up at the perfect time to block it. And now Miracle turns some good damage into Silent, but it will not be enough. Miracle will die. Brings a lot of resources to do it, and while they're all down on bottom lane, Iceberg gets hunted down by the fresh defusal. It's an 11-minute defusal blade on Matumbaman.
Matumba's so far. He has 10 CS per minute.
He's at 6.4k net worth.
Yeah. He's far ahead of everyone else. I think Matumba plays the best mid-brood in the world, together with maybe Ramses from Virtus Pro. They're very, very good at finding farm and being effective and buying the right items. So you got to be wary of this as Winstrike. Your Spectre's game is pretty good, your Tiny's game is pretty good, but there's this one guy in the enemy team that's starting to take control of the map. You lost your mid-tower. What's his next objective? Do you want to fight him there, or do you want to try to make pressure on the other side?
Always when a fly is being hunted down by GH. No Fear wants to help him out. Thought about the Sprout, then realized this ain't happening. TP out. Miracle does not have the Hellfire Blast anymore. So away to safety. Kuro starting the invasion into the Dire. But Nongrada's there to defend. He's got 2 Observer Wards on Kuro, and you know he wants to plant it on the hillsides. So they use a fake GH to give some cover. They're going again on mid.
Quick flank.
Yeah.
From Iceberg.
He's got friends nearby, but I always want to fly still level 4.
Yeah.
Like 13 minutes into this game. Like he just doesn't have anything to work with. He can't swap out to safety.
They need to get Venger lane. They can't keep being this underleveled on that hero. It's not very useful.
So they're trying to set up for a bottom lane fight, but always want to fly. Walks underneath the Observer Ward. Very easy detection and kill off, and then just rotate into the next hero kill. Kuro will take the stun of the arrow from Nongrada, but it's Matumbaman with a double kill. And Nongrada has just to leap away and get some distance. They still can't bring Silent in. Haunt is on cooldown for the moment. He doesn't have a weapon, like he doesn't have an item to really fight with. He's trying to build up a Vanguard.
Yeah, I think this Vanguard is a mistake because I know where he's coming from. It's a super good item against Broodmother, against all the Spiderlings, and he can definitely protect himself against that. But I think you've got to try to take a more aggressive approach. If you play to not die to Brood, you're basically conceding the map to Brood, right? If you don't itemize to kill, he will dominate you anyway. And that's what's happening right now. Nobody's dealing with Matumbaman at all. I think they need something on the Spectre like a Diffusal Blade or a Manta so that they can kill the Brood in their stuns. Make sure they have enough to bring him down.
But instead they're trying to do this, get him behind the lines, attack into the tier 1 tower. But because the webs are already covering all the way towards the mid, Matumbaman just brings his army through the rear, and No Fear has no way to really survive this. He can't TP out in time. Iceberg will go down as well. And Team Liquid are all over Winstrike like a hot rash.
They're just making it look so easy.
Yeah.
The Broodmother is just totally in control of this game.
9k in the net worth. What's his experience per minute's almost 700.
He just owns 50% of the map pretty much. Or 50% of Winstrike's side rather. This entire bottom area here is just not, there's nothing Winstrike can do if they don't invade this and push the Brood out by killing it. If they try to split push, I don't think they're fast enough to get anything meaningful out of it. So Liquid will just take their towers. You see it right now, all these summons with the Wraith King as well as the Broodmother, forcing them to come down here.
Wrath of Nature is actually soaked up as well by all these Spiderlings when they're in range. Miracle doesn't get hit. In fact, he has the observer ward on the hill. That's why he knows how to dodge this. And Nongrata, you got 2 leap charges to survive. And he may need both of them soon. And yeah, now they see, and now they'll get rid of it. Tells Winstrike that Vision is on the hill. Silence.
So far.
Did you mention that Silent actually changed to Radiance?
No, I did not see that until now.
No. He's switching off the Vanguard. And it's just a never-ending battle for hill dominance.
The thing I'm worried about here is if he goes Radiance on Spectre, he's just going to get Cyclone by
Jump.
through.
Nongrata. So much damage so quickly with the Terrorize. He can't even react with the leap. All the 1 charges. And then we're just waiting for the right time.
Liquid are so good at playing fundamentals with Broodmother. I was about to say it's cool to watch or nice to watch, but I don't like Brood, so it's like I can appreciate good play, but it's Brood. Well,
you say the same thing with techies?
Yeah, probably say the same thing. They're on my short list of heroes that I personally don't like very much, but yeah, you gotta appreciate good play, man. Like he's playing the hero super well. They're really using Broodmother as the centerpiece of this lineup and just taking full control of the map.
Try to use Wrath of Nature to hit into mind control. He's still got 8-1 charges and Bruise Split's coming off cooldown right now. Matumba's hunting for more kills. GH, they're actually having no options. Mind control TP's out with 4 heroes trying to hunt him. In fact, 5 heroes. Everyone from Winstrike is in reaching distance of that top lane.
I think they're taking the wrong approach to the game, and I think they have for the last 5 to 10 minutes. In my opinion, this is not how they need to play this game to deal with the Brood. They need to take the fight to the Brood. Oh, see Iceberg right now.
They got a stun. Kuro can't get in range in time.
But if they just accept that Matumba owns the jungle like this for 10 minutes, the map is falling apart. They haven't accomplished anything. If they feel like they can't fight because of their Spectre, they shouldn't have picked the hero. They picked it into Brood. But I think they have to try. You can't just accept this. Just watch Liquid completely demolish your side of the map. They own like 75% of the map. It's only going to end one way. If you don't shove this Brood out or have a lineup that can force Liquid to defend, which they don't seem to be able to do at all, you gotta take the fight, man. Like, it doesn't get easier.
Oh, the fight's coming. Miracle, blink forward. Leap does not disjoin that Hellfire Blast. They terrorize to ensure Nongrata again cannot react. GH is being so liberal with such a long cooldown ability. But it doesn't matter as long as they get the kill, they then take the objective directly after. Matumba is so down. He's almost finishing his AC.
Yep. What's his GPM at? 650.
Yeah. Always when a fly is in trouble. Iceberg just can't help. He's trying to go into a Shadow Blade. So at least maybe he can find some initiation, but Tier 2 tower gets lost in mid. And you could potentially turn their attention towards the top lane, but they'd never have to bring everybody. It's like Liquid could just spread out their resources, and you called it. Like, there's going to be a Vladimir's offering for extra sustainers on mind control.
Yeah. Amount of lifesteal they're going to have is pretty ridiculous. Currently, so there's currently 18% of the aura from Wraith King. Then there's the Vlads for another 15. And then there's the Broodmother ulti for another 2.5 million. It's only 100, but that's a lot. So what's that grand total? What did I say? 18 plus 15? 133% lifesteal. It's not bad. You hit for 250. You get an Omni heal every time you hit a hero.
And then you attack even faster because you're bloodlusted up. And you got the Hyperstone, so attack speed from Matumba's through the roof. Yep.
Down goes Big Stone Boy, and I ain't talking about Tiny. The other guy. The bigger guy.
Is Roshan actually made of stone? I do not know the lore on him.
I do not know much lore in general. I ask your boy Slacks.
Yeah, where is Slacks?
I heard he's doing something.
Yeah, we hear
so that's great. That's great.
He's eating Oreos.
That could be both good and bad, actually. Slacks doing something can be both good and bad.
The Spirit Vessel is almost done for no fear.
All right, well...
Oh, hang on. Never mind. I take it back. He's a little bit further away now from his Spirit Vessel.
He tried to get the tower.
He did.
He did a little bit of damage. Oh, they're going to deny it. Yep.
Radiant's middle tower has been
well, there's 2 Tier 1 towers that at least fell.
What's going to happen now is Liquid will wait for this AC on Matumba Man, and then they're going to try to push high ground, most likely. With the Brewmaster split and with Skeletons from Wraith King, they feel like they will hit a great timing with the Radiance on the Wraith King, too. It's It's like pretty much perfect. Everything is coming together around the same minute. They get these 4 bounty runes. That's the AC and the Radiance at the same time. I think you just go for it.
Cannot believe how fast Matumba can just move between these lanes. He goes up, he farms the side. Whoops, that wasn't part of the plan. Nice, Iceberg got some cash.
Mind Control's just walking up and getting the rune. Nobody's here. They're too late again. Arrow, not gonna land.
Nope, fly past Mind Control, so all the bounty runes as well. That's the money. And that's the money for Matumba. So Assault Cuirass 20 minutes into the game.
AC, Radiance, any other big item they got, they just got the Vlads. Like, it's just, this is such a strong spike when you look across the
GH is
board.
his own spirit vessel, sure.
Yep, they got that too.
Radiant are
Liquid have 2 choices now. They can try to fight this top tower, defend it, or they can just be like, we don't care, and just go high ground.
They're doing both.
I don't know about that one, though.
Okay, GH and Mind Control looked like they were heading north, but it's bottom lane. There
Radiance
are
is ready.
so many skeletons, and they all move towards the Hellfire Blast and target, and it's Spec. He gets swapped back out again. Silent burns a little bit, but look at the army. It moves forward, takes so much damage thanks to actually the Starfall and the Avalanche. VS will die, but a very quick buyback. Now Iceberg can try and go for these kills, tosses the Ogre around, finds that pick off. No tier 3 towers lost. And this incursion from Team Liquid is at least repelled for now.
Now you imagine that fight with a Brewmaster. They just didn't have him. Both Brewmaster and Willow were on the other side of the map. It looked like Liquid were trying, like you said, to pull 2 plays at the same time. But now they're together, and they might just go in anyway with a dead Ogre.
Miracle, there's your jump forward, right on top of Nongrata, and they just crit him down. Matumba will take that kill, but they also get the lockdown thanks to the Bramble Major onto Spec. So Silent is gone, always want to fly under control, and the Brewmaster Chaos is created. It just keeps everyone under control underneath the tier 4 towers. Prophet was able to TP back out again, but one by one, Iceberg, he tries to come in for something more, able to kill up the Dark Willow, but they just can't fight this.
Oh my god, the damage. AC Medallion and then the crit from Brewmaster and Wraith King, I think that was at the same time.
Yeah, they're back again. Matumba's just like, more.
He has Aegis, so can play a little bit.
Nope.
Play
Hellfire.
very confident. Yep.
And Matumba,
man.
after no fear. This is done. This is dusted. We're 22 minutes in, but this game is over. There's no way that Liquid even need to leave the base of Winstrike. The second someone comes in range, he just becomes another kill. He becomes an extra padding for fantasy points. And they still can't even break the reincarnation of the Wraith King. He'll be ready to turn around and steal some life in just a second. Well, no, there goes the reincarnation. But always want to fly. And the Hellfire Blast up to Nongrata. GG. GG indeed. It's a good day to have Miracle on your team. 20.7 fantasy points just for this one game.
Nice.
I love it. I love it. It's not like we're all about the fantasy points, but we're all about the fantasy points. That's real solid for Liquid.
Yeah, straightforward game from them. They third pick the Broodmother. They do get counterpicked by a Tiny in the lane. They do a little bit of lane switcheroos, get off to a pretty good start for them.